Hi, and welcome back to Heimler's History Economics Edition. So, this happened yesterday. President Donald Trump said he expects to move forward with plans to escalate tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports as of January 1st. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Trump said it was highly unlikely that he would accept a request by China to stand down from his plans to ratchet up tariffs on the $200 billion list from 10% to 25%. The tariff increase is expected to go into effect on January 1st. The White House has already put a 25% tariff on a separate list of Chinese imports valued at more than $50 billion. So what does all this mean, and how do we understand tariffs and barriers to trade in a macroeconomic sense? Well, baby, I'm finna tell you. So what's going on with the United States and China with regards to trade? Well, just so you know right off the bat, the United States buys a metric buttload of stuff from China to the tune of about $522 billion. And both of our economies largely depend on those imports. And now our fair president is threatening to put tariffs on a bunch of those goods. Now, a tariff is just a tax on imported goods, so what effect, if any, would this have on our economy? Now, I don't know if anybody else is in the mood for a graph, but I sure am, so it's graph time. So here you can see the supply and demand curves for our domestic supply of goods and services. And then here is a second supply curve which indicates the total supply of goods and services, which includes domestic and imported goods. Now, this graph that you're looking at represents a scenario of completely free and open trade between economies. No tariffs. In this case, our equilibrium price and quantity for domestic goods and services is here. But when you add imports into the mix, our equilibrium quantity and price is here. And since the price here is lower than the equilibrium domestic price, domestic industries will produce here at Q2. So the takeaway so far is that when there is a free trade agreement between two countries like the United States and China, domestic firms produce less, indicated by this gap right here. And if you know anything about Trump's policies, he is not happy if US companies are producing less, because that means fewer jobs for Americans. So what he has decided to do in part, and threatening to do in full, is to throw up barriers to that free trade, namely tariffs. Now, what effect would that have on our graph? Well, let's see. So an imposition of a tax on imports would increase the cost of each unit imported. If that happens, then it will decrease the amount of imported goods coming into the US by China, and that will shift the total supply curve to the left. Now watch what happens. The total supply curve shifted here, and when that happens, the price will increase and our quantity consumed will decrease. But when that happens, notice something, that all of a sudden domestic firms are producing more right here. And if domestic firms are producing more, that means more jobs for Americans. And so the big question is this: are Americans willing to pay more for their stuff so that more Americans can work? And given that Americans have always had a very complicated relationship with tariffs, understatement, we'll just have to wait and see. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another economics video. If you think tariffs on Chinese goods are a good idea, then let me know down in the comments. And if you think they're a bad idea, well, let me know in the comments too. And if this video is helpful to you, then let me know by hitting the like button. And finally, if you want to join our little community of beard enthusiasts here, then hit that subscribe button and come along.